Hey everyone, another video spotlighting another Autodesk certified user certification exam objective for Fusion 360. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at advanced modeling, specifically looking at splitting and combining bodies. So this is going to be a real quick and short video, as these are very simple modification tools to use when creating 3D models. So I'm going to go ahead and move into Fusion, and I'm just going to do something really basic here. I'm going to go ahead and we can create a new component. I'll just go ahead and call this we'll call this a rectangular prism. And we're going to go ahead and create a sketch. I'm on the work plane, front plane here, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw a rectangle, and it doesn't even matter really the size. We'll go a 4x5. How about that? This that way we get something constrained. So finish the sketch, and I'm going to extrude this out. Let's do 10 inches. So again, you can do this with a lot of different models and practice with this, but here is one thing that we can do with this particular item. One is if I go to modify, I've got a few options. I'm going to show you one as well, how to do splitting a face, but also splitting a body, and then doing combine a body as well. So you can even see from the tooltips what they're used for. So as well as splitting bodies and things like that. So here's kind of what I've used in the past. I'm going to go ahead and create an offset work plane, and I'm going to base it off of this front, and let's put this right in the middle at 5 inches. Now, if I want to split this, because right now in my browser, I've got one body that's been created from the extrusion. So, but maybe I want to go ahead and split this, or have a case where I need to split it to have two separate bodies to be able to edit to do two different things. So I'm going to go ahead and go to modify. I'm going to go to split body, and the thing that the menu's looking for is it says to body to split. So I can select the body here in the graphics area, or I can go over here to body 1, and you'll see it'll highlight. And then it says what are the splitting tools. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit select, and I want it to split right on that work plane. So which now you're going to see I get kind of a red area that it highlights and picks up where it's going to split. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK. Now if I hide the construction plane, and if I look over here, I've got body 1, so which is the right side there, and then I've got body 2, which is the side that's kind of closest to us. So now I can do some things like, for example, go into physical material, and if I want one to be a ceramic material like a porcelain, I can apply that to one body. But then as I go into, let's say, just because I had a previous video, let's say I want to make this one made of water, now those two can have two separate things. Even though they look very similar, I maybe need them to have separate physical properties. So for whatever reason. So that is one thing that can kind of happen there. Now, in order to maybe bring that back, I'm going to go to modify. We can go to combine. So maybe I want to bring them back together. So the target body, I can either choose one or the other. So the target body is usually the kind of the desired one that you want left. And then you have the tool bodies, and it automatically changes the select. So the tool body is, I'm just going to select the second one. And either I can choose to join or cut or intersect. I'm just going to choose to join them. And so if I needed to, I could create a new component. If I wanted to create a brand new one out of that, I could check that box. And I can also say like keep the tools. So sometimes I like to go through and keep the tools because it keeps a copy of each tool body. And I'm going to go ahead and say OK. And we're going to see what this does as we go forward. So now in our combination, you're going to see body 2 is the full extent. Body 1 is the tool body that we selected, and that's what it means by keeping that. So if I go back into editing the combination, if I uncheck that and say OK, you're going to see now body 2 is the only thing that gets left, and it all took over the water physical material as the option. So if I need to, I can always change that back to maybe another type of material there. So that's a real quick way of going through and handling combine and split. Those are for bodies. The exam objective does go through and specify that, but I will go ahead and show you this kind of scenario as well, is that if I create a sketch and if I, let's say I draw a, let's use a fit point spline. And I'm just going to kind of draw this kind of interesting shape here on the face. And if I say finish the sketch, right now I've got two separate faces that I could extrude, but as I go through and look at applying like an appearance, if I look to try to paint this, you'll notice that it picks up the whole body, or I need to check to make sure I got faces selected, and let's see if it'll pick up the separate faces. So, and it doesn't go through, it picks up these, but it won't pick up this. So that can be one of the issues. So here's what I'm going to do. Go to modify. I'm going to say to split the face. It operates a very similar way. What's the face to split? I'm going to choose the top face. What's the splitting tool? I'm going to choose select, and I'm going to click on, which you can kind of see, I'll kind of highlight when I hover over it. I'm going to choose that line, and then there's the splitting, you know, kind of the splitting tool there. So it'll go through and it'll say split with surface, or I can choose another option. Split with surface works really well. Do I want to extend the splitting tool? It'll do that if I need to do so a little bit more. So in this case, it's not really necessary. So I can go ahead and keep it right with there, right on the ends. So I can go ahead and say okay. Now I got two separate faces. Now when I go to apply my appearance, I can look at what kind of paint color. So again, I need to change them over to faces. Now I can do blue on this face. And let's say I can do yellow on this one. And so now that allows me to create some new options. So again, this is an added in modification tool, but that's how to go through and do you know, split face, split body, as well as doing the combine option. So utilizing sketches, but also utilizing some of the construction methods, like utilizing planes and everything, will also be useful with how to create varying models with a lot of these really cool modification tools. So this completes the video on how to combine and split bodies. So again, if you have questions or anything, feel free to contact me. However, if you don't, continue your studying through the Autodesk Certified User Exam materials, as well as, you know, check out other videos on my channel for help with that.